Diamondbacks outfielder Adam Jones had a fan ejected from Petco Park in San Diego yesterday afternoon. Jones said that the fan was cussing me out as Jones fielded a fly ball. Jones, who is from San Diego, spoke to Nick Piecoro of the Arizona Republic after the game and explained, "These fans in sports, man, they're starting to get a little more brazen," Jones said. "I've said it many times, and obviously I've had altercations with fans. My biggest thing is, keep the banter polite. We suck. I struck out. The team's not good. Keep it light, keep it smart. There's kids in the stadium. But second you start cussing me out like I'm a little kid, that's a no-no," Jones added. "I made a nice play, and just hearing the B-word, F-word, that's not baseball talk. So, he gone." He also noted that the matter was simply one of vulgarity and that the fan did not use any racial language, the sort of which he was subjected to in Fenway Park in a much-publicized incident back in 2017. "As of press time, we are unaware of people crawling out of the woodwork to say that Jones was making this up like they said about the 2017 incident. I suppose they only do that to reflexively beat back claims of racism that upset their view of society." Follow it. Craig Calcaterra, former Met and current Mets broadcaster Ron Darling has a new book out. It's called 108 Stitches, Loose Threads, Ripping Yarns, and the Darndest Characters from My Time in the Game, and it was released on Tuesday. As you might expect, it has a lot of stories about those crazy mid-80s Mets team of which Darling was a part. One anecdote is getting significant play at the moment. It involves Lenny Dykstra and Dennis "Oil Can" Boyd of the Boston Red Sox. Darling says that before Game 3 of the 1986 World Series, Dykstra was shouting every imaginable and unimaginable insult and expletive in his Boyd's direction, foul, racist, hateful, hurtful stuff, when he was in the on-deck circle before leading off the game. Dykstra says that didn't happen, and on a Monday radio appearance, he threatened to sue Darling. He also said he would drop Darling like a red-headed effing stepchild if he saw him. In his corner are former Mets teammates Dwight Gooden and Kevin Mitchell, who said they never heard Dykstra yell racial slurs at Boyd, who is black. Darling responded on Tuesday saying, "I heard what I heard and I put it in the book for a reason," and says that other Mets teammates support his account. Boyd said this week that he did not hear Dykstra shouting anything at him, but that he believes Darling. This morning on Twitter, the following exchange occurred. pic.twitter.com/ZTNHB9Gil8, Ron Darling Jr., @Ron Darling Jr., April 4, 2019. Dykstra responded, repeatedly referring to Darling as Jussie Darling, apparently trying to equate him with Jussie Smollett, the actor who was initially accused of making up a false racially motivated assault before charges against him were dropped. Which is a rather interesting comp given all of the politics and agendas at play in the Smollett story, but let's leave that aside. That aside, Dykstra parses Darling's statement, slamming him for using the passive voice and for not offering up something stronger than that he stands by all recollections that were written. He also uses emojis to call Darling a rat. Whether Dykstra actually shouted slurs may be difficult to establish with 100% certainty given the passage of time and, one presumes, the lack of video and audio if such a thing. It's also worth noting that Dykstra would have a strong incentive to deny he did such a thing, even if he did it. As for teammates, saying one did not hear something happened is not the same thing as saying that it did not happen. It'd be interesting to see if Mets teammates come forward to corroborate Darling's account, or if any beyond Gooden and Mitchell come forward to support Dykstra. It'll also be interesting to see if Dykstra follows through on his threat to sue, even if his case for a suit is strong on the merits. A defamation suit's damages are, at heart, reputation damages, and Dykstra, as we know, has something less than a glowing reputation. Of particular note is the fact that there have been many past claims, including in books, of Dykstra being a racist. Dykstra didn't sue over that. It's also pretty notable that a key part of his bad reputation has to do with dishonesty. He did time for fraud, which presents sort of a problem when it comes to making legal claims that someone is lying about you. It's also the case that Dykstra himself has made super questionable claims about stuff he did during his playing career which, to say the least, muddy the waters about both his capacity to tell the truth and about how good and pure a guy he was. Anyway, today is the Mets home opener. Happy baseball. Follow at Craig Calcaterra.